All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our last South Carolina Arts Network for 2023. And we are going to weather the storm today. I want you to keep in mind that we are recording, and I want this to also be a safe and brave space for you to add your comments through the chat, or if there's a time where you want to engage with our speaker today, feel free to do so, but please be mindful and respectful of each other and different opinions as we progress. I want to introduce you to our speaker, Mr. Charles Weathers. He is the founder of the Weathers Group, a management consulting firm specializing in organizational performance and leadership development. He is a national recognized speaker, writer, and consultant, known for his ability to help groups and navigate difficult conversations while captivating audiences with his contagious energy, insight, and humor. Charles is also a veteran of the U.S. Air Force, an American Leader Forum Senior Fellow, a Raleigh Diversity Fellow with Furman University, and a member of the Institute of Management Consultants and a member of the National Speakers Association. In his mission to positively impact lives, Charles has made headlines by lending his voice to disruptive companies in the nonprofit, government, and private sector since 2003. You know, it's hard to say those years now that you're in 2023. The Weathers Group, under Charles' leadership, has developed customized solutions for clients ranging from grassroots community organizations for billion-dollar business enterprises. His work has touched the lives of leading executives at TD Bank, BASF Corporation, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the Society of Human Resource Management, and counties, public, private entities across the globe. So welcome me in inviting Charles Weather to speak with us today. Thank you so much, Charles, for your expertise.
Thank you, my friend.
Yours.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that kind introduction. Thank you so much. It is truly a pleasure to be here with the team and the folks today. For those that are here live and for those that will watch the recording later, it's an honor to be on this journey with you. I'm really looking forward to talking about weathering the storm. And we got a great conversation ahead of us today. We actually have a slide deck that I'm going to pull up in a second and share with you. And let's just go ahead and do that so we can jump right in because we have a lot to cover. For those that are live with us, please feel free to raise your hand, put something in the chat. I want this to be a dialogue. I want us to talk with each other. If you know me, you know I don't want to just talk to you. Let's talk with each other and explore this together, okay? So let me pull up my screen here, make sure you can see it. Let me go to share mode. Has technology cooperated? Can you see my screen? Give me a thumbs up or something. Fantastic. Thank you, and thank you. So we want to talk about navigating change through resilience, adaptability, and perseverance, okay? This whole idea of navigating change and what that looks like and weathering the storms that come our way. And to set the stage, I want to look at something I want us to consider here. This journey that we all are on as executive directors, as leaders, as program directors, as supervisors, as managers, whatever title we choose, here are three things I think I know about your journey. There's some vision that your organization has right now, whether it is stated, whether it is written, whether it is thought. There's some vision, some destination in mind, some place you're trying to get to, some ultimate outcome you're trying to achieve. And you probably got a mission statement somewhere on the website, on a business card. Maybe you have it memorized, but that mission kind of gives us an idea of what you're going to do to get to the vision. Vision, the ultimate aspiration, where we're trying to get to. Mission, the road we travel to get there. And then chances are you may have some form of a value statement or values list, these non-negotiable principles that we say we won't compromise that will guide our decision making. And these form what we call the framework, for your journey. Vision, where we're going, mission, what we're doing to get there, values, the guardrails that protect us along the journey. Now, why are those three things important as we talk about weathering the storm? Because the vision, mission, and values are the primary things that keep us on the road when the storms rise. That's a very important point to note right there. The vision, mission, and values are the primary components or elements of the organization that keep us on the road when the storms arise. They keep us focused. We know where we're going. We know what we're doing to get there. We have the guardrails to protect us because during the storm, as we'll learn in a little bit, the road gets blurry. During the storm, it gets cloudy. During the storm, sometimes it's hard to see. During the storm, we can lose our bearing. So I want you to consider this. The vision, mission, and values are not just statements. They're not just statements that you put on a wall or a website or a business card or a board manual. These are key, they're instruments, they're key indicators, they're guides. They're very important to us as we guide and move the organization forward. That's what I want us to consider as we go forward. Now let me pause for a second to give anybody in the room right now an opportunity to ask. Any questions there, or when you think about your vision, mission, and values, can you say right now that, yes, Charles, we really do use that to guide our decision makings and keep us focused? Any thoughts there? I'm going to give a second before I keep going. Or if it's in the chat, let me know. Laura Shal, if you see anything in the chat, I think there might be something there.
We have one that says, my org is good at that.
Fantastic, good. And it takes intentionality to do that. Don't make the assumption. Here's what I want to tell you as we get started. Don't make the assumption that because we have a written vision, mission, or value statement, that we truly are following it, aligned with it, and congruent with it. You must be intentional. So that lays the foundation for the journey. And then as we're talking about storm, I want you to consider this framework that to me is popular. It's one of my favorites, and I use it all the time. I think it was back in about 1965, Dr. Bruce Tuckman, a social psychologist, he had these stages of development: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjournment. We're not going to talk about adjournment today. But during the forming stage, here's what he says basically. Anytime you get a team, people, a group, an organization coming together to do anything, you're going to go through these stages. And folks, I have to tell you, these stages are often dismissed or not fully appreciated by leaders, and I see leaders struggle because of that. When people come together, we form. We transition from individual to member status. It could be a new program, a new team, a new department, a new nonprofit, a new partnership. We explore the boundaries of the group, and we test the leader's guidance both formally and informally. It happens naturally. We're in a forming stage. After the forming stage, there's something called storming. Uncertainty steps in. Why am I here? Why are you here? Who decided to do this? Whose idea was this? Storming is a difficult time for the team. Internal collaboration is a challenge. We know we should work together, but sometimes we resist working together. During the storm, groups debate about the approach and actions that they need to take. Here's a couple of indicators. You can tell you're in a storm when the easy decisions become hard. Storm. You know, what color do we paint the lobby? Blue, white, or red? Folks, can we just paint the lobby and move on? We had 7 meetings in 2 weeks. That's enough. Paint the lobby. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but we get the storm. Easy decisions become hard. Once we make it through the storm, then we norm. Now we have clarity. We have understanding. Our purpose is solidified. Okay. Members reconcile their competing loyalties, responsibilities, and interests. Oh, I get it. We're on the same team. We establish our ground rules. Here's how this relationship will work. Here's how this partnership will work. Here's how this collaboration will work. Here's how this team is work. And we find our fit like pieces of a puzzle. Okay, you're there, I'm there. We're synced. And then we perform. Success is defined. People truly believe in what they're doing and why they're doing it. Very important. What they're doing and why they're doing it. We've discovered and accepted each other's strengths and weaknesses. Roles, responsibilities, expectations are clear. Forming, storming, norming, and performing. I want you to think about your organization, your team, your board, your partnership, whatever part of your life, your business life you want to think about right now. Where are you today? Where's the team? Where's the board? Where's the organization? Where's the program? Where's the department? Are we forming? Are we storming? Are we norming? Or are we performing? Just consider that. Now here's the thing. No one area is better than the other because all of them play a role and all of them are important. And let me just share something with you going forward. There is not a plan or a strategy or an approach or a methodology that you can develop that will ensure you avoid all future storms. Because storms are part of the process. They're part of the process for developing and growing anything, from our business relationships to our teams, to our partnerships, to our programs. Look at it this way. So you see the performance axis running vertically and time running horizontally, forming, storming, norming, and performing. And notice what happens during the storm? Performance drops. Can everybody see that? Performance takes a hit. Now, why does performance take a hit during the storm? Sometimes we get into our silos. Sometimes we go into what I call survival mode. Quite frankly, sometimes the storms can just be exhausting. Exhausting. We're preoccupied and we're distracted. But all that being said, please make note of this. There's value in the storms. There are some lessons that we only learn in the storms. There's some growth that will only take place in the storms. There are some strengths that will only surface in the storm. But there are two storms that are the most dangerous storms, and these are the two storms I want you to really pay attention to and be aware of. Storm number one is what we call the quiet storm. What's the quiet storm, Charles? The quiet storm is that storm we go through, but nobody talks about it. You ever been there? We know we got an issue. We know we got to just talk about it. It'll go away. It'll go away. Let me tell you a secret. It won't go away. One of the indicators of being in a quiet storm is when the meeting after the meeting in the parking lot has more substance and conversation than the meeting in the room. I'll talk about it out there in the parking lot, but I ain't talking about it in there. That might be evidence of a quiet storm. Be aware of that. And then the other storm that can make life really difficult for your team organization is when the storm becomes the norm. Clouds never part, sun never shines, water never calms. My good, we stay in a storm around here. Even if the mission of your organization or the objective of your team is to help people who are going through their own personal storms, your job is not to jump in the storm with them. Not your role. Our job is to navigate the storms. And please do me a favor and do yourself a favor. When you see the storms on the horizon, don't run from the storm, because some storms are yours and they will wait for you. One reason we have found some organizations and teams and partnerships don't grow and develop and become as strong as they should. They see the storm on the horizon and they freeze. Oh, let's just wait, pause, everybody stop. Let that storm pass, then we'll continue. Some storms are ours and they will wait for us. All that being said, I want to share this with you. Storming is not the most challenging place to be on this visual you're looking at. Performing is. Performing is more challenging than storming. Why? Because performance can breed complacency. We're good. We win awards. Look at the articles they write about us. We put them up on the wall in the office. We're good. Yeah, we're good until somebody new looks up and says, those are great awards and articles, but that's 1978 or 1992. What have you done for me lately? Always remember this from an organizational perspective. The reward for high performance is greater expectations. I'm going to repeat that because I think it's worth it. The reward for high performance is greater expectations. We do great, people want more. We do great, people want more. So we got to recognize that performance can be challenging for us. And we can learn a lesson from a little company called Blockbuster Video. Y'all ever heard of Blockbuster? I had that little card back in the day, and in my family, we had a little tradition where on the way home from work on Fridays, Daddy would pick up a pizza and a movie and come home and watch a movie. Well, Blockbuster's gone. Who put them out of business? Well, some experts say Netflix did. And they tell a story. They tell us that the story goes like this. Around 2004, the founders of Netflix go to Blockbuster and say, hey, we have this idea and we'll sell it to you for $50 million. And Blockbuster says, no, we're performing. We're good. We don't need that. And if we do it, we'll do it ourselves. So Netflix walks away. They keep it. Blockbuster files bankruptcy. They're gone. Today, Netflix is worth about $700 billion. Blockbuster was lacking what I consider perhaps the most important person in the room. It's what we call your what's next person. Who is the what's next person on your team? Who is the what's next person on your board? Who is the what's next person in your partnership? That's the person not just looking down the street. They're trying to look down the street and around the corner. What's next? What can we prepare for after the storm and so on? And though this looks like a nice little neat check mark, let me tell you your reality as an organizational leader. Here's your reality. That's it right there. The more staff, the bigger the borders, the more partnerships, the more grants, the more programs, the more functional areas, the more likely you will have different areas going through different stages at the exact same time. And your job is to either lead or govern through all of that. So when there are those moments where you feel like, I feel like we're all over the place, because you kind of are. But here's what I found value in. When you show a visual like this to the team members and or to the board, when the storms surface, when things seem to be all over the place, they're prepared for it because we talked about it. Does that resonate with anybody? That's what you want. You want to put it out there that way. So that's kind of the landscape, the reality of what it is going through these storms. Again, let me pause there for a second. Any questions or any comments, any clarity anybody needs before I go forward? All righty. So here's how we define storms. Disruptions that can cause significant damage and or reveal hidden opportunities. We believe there's opportunities in the storm. So we're going to acknowledge a reality here. Storms are disruptive and they can cause significant damage and or they also can reveal hidden opportunities. Remember that it's both and, it's not either or. And there are 4 phases to a storm, and we all go through these stages in a different manner. Maybe tactically we do that, but I can promise you, you might want to consider embedding these phases or this language into your work. Forecast, prepare, navigate, and recovery. What does forecast look like? Just like when I get up in the morning and I still watch the news every now and then, or I'll pull up my phone and look at the forecast. Why do we look at the weather forecast? Because we're trying to be prepared for what's ahead. What's the forecast tell us? What do you do? Here's the question for you as a leader. What do you and your board and your organization, your team and your partners and allies do to forecast storms? What do you do to forecast storms? What time do you spend thinking about things, watch this, that you don't want to happen, but you got to just think about, but what if it does happen? What if it does happen? Think about political, economic, social issues, technological issues, and other issues out there. Spend time forecasting. Here's a great exercise you might want to consider that a lot of organizations do now. It's called scenario planning or scenario conversations. They will spend time saying, okay, think of a scenario we don't want to happen, but it does happen. We lose 50% of our funding from, funder X. Oh, okay, whoa, we don't want that to happen. All right, forecast that. What would we do if that happened? You start playing those scenarios out, forecasting. Once you forecast storms, the next job is to prepare for storms as you see them coming. Again, just like we live in South Carolina, you got the coast. We are in a hurricane path. We get hurricanes every now and then, and people say, "Are you prepared? Do you have a hurricane kit, a safety kit, an evacuation route?" Well, think about the storms that your organization could face. What are you doing to prepare for those? What do you have in place already? Always remember this: when something happens, a lot of times people will call and they'll say, "Charles, this just happened. This just happened." And after we look at it, we find out, you know what? That didn't just happen. You just noticed. That happened 2 years ago. That happened 6 months ago. If you were forecasting and preparing for it, you might have seen it coming, so to speak. So we prepare for storms, even though we don't want it to happen. What are we doing to prepare for it? Just a consideration. I'll give you a common example right now that we're seeing a lot of organizations prepare for: succession planning. Succession. As nonprofit EDs many are moving into the retirement phase of their career and saying, I think in the next 2 to 3 years, I'm going to make a shift, going to make a change. Wise boards and wise leaders and others are doing what? They're preparing for it now. They're not waiting until that person gives a month or 2 notice to say, oh, they're going to leave. Let's prepare now. They're preparing now. Because watch this. Can a leader, especially been there for a long time, can that cause a storm? Absolutely it can. The other phase of storms is navigating. Now, this is the one we're most familiar with, because this one we have no choice with for the most part. The storm is here. Now we have to navigate this right here. That key team leader has left. That key board member has left. There's been a shift in our funding. We had a program priority change. So we're very familiar with navigating storms. That phase we do. But then the 4th phase is another one we don't give enough attention to: recovery. Just like when natural storms, hit our neighborhood or our house or our communities, what's part of the effort? Recovery, cleanup, assessment, damage assessment, putting some things back in order, maybe making some new changes based on what happened during the storm, debriefing, reflecting, what were we prepared for? What weren't we prepared for? What worked? What did not work? How often do we spend time recovering with our team after a storm? How often do we spend time with our team debriefing after something goes well or doesn't go so well to say, what could we have done better? And the recovery also is that time of what are we doing to catch our breath so we can keep going forward? All those phases are critical to us navigating storms. Forecast it, prepare for it, navigate it, and recover. Storms come in different levels just for us to be aware of. Sometimes individual, Charles is going through a personal storm. I'm going through a storm. That can happen. Sometimes our team is in a storm. Maybe our department, our division or functional area is in a storm. Maybe the entire company or organization is in a storm. And sometimes a community is in a storm, however you define community. So this is also a very important point when you talk about navigating storms. Ask yourself, where's the center of the storm? What type is this? Is it individual? Is it team? The department, area, company, community? Where's the storm at? That also helps us to better navigate it and prepare for it. So what are the lessons we learned over the last 20 years helping organizations navigate storms? Number one, denying, ignoring, or resisting the storm won't remove it. Won't remove it. I'm going to ask you to consider this. Burying our heads or turning around saying it will pass, or no, that's not really a problem. It only gets worse. I'm telling you, it only gets worse. And I have seen this happen. I can tell you stories that just don't feel good to even tell you, watching what happens when leaders and organizations deny, ignore, or resist a storm. So number one, that's number one lesson. It's not going to remove it. The storm will still be there. Number two, I mentioned this earlier, but I think it's still important to consider. There are some lessons that can only be learned in the storm. Only learned in the storm. We can take the classes, we can read the books, we can watch the TED Talks and the videos, and that's all valuable, and please keep doing that. But until we go through something together, you have no idea how strong I am. You have no idea where my strengths are or your strengths are. We have no idea how we really work well together. Those lessons in the storm help us really sharpen ourselves and prepare for the work ahead. This one I always find interesting when it comes to storms, but I've learned it works. Know when to be still. Again, just like in natural storms, there's a time where just sit still. Don't move. Running is not going to help. Just be still for this moment. And this can be hard for us to do because many of us, and I'll put myself out there. I'll start with me. Maybe it's not you. I know that sometimes I feel like I've been conditioned with this proclivity to act. I gotta do. And yeah, we have to do something. But every now and then, the something we have to do is just sit still. Sit still and pay attention. Sit still and listen. Sit still and observe. There's tremendous value in sitting still. I like this one right here. This one always makes me laugh. If there's a storm, one of the lessons that we've learned is don't be too eager to put things back the way they were. Again, just like a natural storm might tear something down or move a fence or move something, sometimes that storm revealed an opportunity. Don't put that back the way it was. Don't do it. I had a colleague of mine, tell me how y'all feel about this. You can put it in the chat if you agree with it or have further thought. They said, listen, Charles, I am not a fan of COVID-19. I'm not a fan of what we went through in 2020. They said, however, there were some lessons we learned going through that our organization will never go back to the way we were in February of 2020. There are some things we're not putting back the way they were. Some things we will, but some things we won't. Can anybody identify with that? Well, not putting that back the same way. That we've proven we can do this differently. Let's do it differently now. That was a big eye opener for a lot of people. And again, nobody's promoting, COVID, saying it was a good thing. That's not it. Just acknowledging that there are some things that don't need to go back when we go through the storms. Again, mention this, but we don't know how good we are until we go through something together. That's the key. There's something about, in my opinion, there's something about a storm that presents an opportunity for us to deepen our relationship. Something about going through that hard time together, something about pushing through that moment together that deepens the relationship, something that makes you realize I can count on you and you can count on me. And I can expose my vulnerabilities and I can expose my weaknesses. Why? Because your strengths compensate for my weaknesses, but my strengths compensate for somebody else's weaknesses. So again, we don't know until we go through the something, whatever that thing is. So what are the recommendations here? Number one, as a leader, and again, we'll give you the slide deck if you want, and you can have a PDF of the slide deck. We'll share it with you. Be present. Be present. In the storm, first recommendation I have for you is to please be present. People must know that you are on board. Your presence sets the tone. Be in the moment. Do not disappear on the team. And I'm not just talking physically being gone. I'm talking emotionally. I'm talking intellectually. I'm talking be there. Let your head and your heart be there. The storm is not the time for the team to feel that you are distant from them. It's not the time. The storm is not the time for the team to feel disconnected from leadership. It's not the time. They got to know we're here. What are we doing? I'm here. I'm there. Do we meet in person? Do we jump on the phone? What am I doing to stay in constant contact, keeping my finger on the pulse of people? Our presence is extremely important. Be forthright. This comes from Radical Candor, a book by Kim Scott, a great book I'd recommend. Excuse me, it was adapted from that. The narrative starts with you. The narrative. If you don't control the narrative, somebody else will. There's no storm. Well, outside we can see the wind blowing. There's no storm. No, there is. There's a storm. Control the narrative because you don't want somebody else to control the message. Practice what they call radical candor, which is I can be direct and I can be honest and I can be clear and I can be kind and appropriate and be consistent. One of the keys during the storm is communication. How consistently are we communicating? This right here is a key gem that I learned many years ago. Don't ever make people guess what's going on, because when people guess, they normally guess wrong. Don't do that. Don't make the team guess what's going on. Even if you don't know the solution, even if you don't know how to get out of it, even if you don't know the next step, you reach a point in leadership where we have to say, hey, team, we have some challenges we're getting through right now. The path ahead is not clear, but please know this. There is a path ahead and we will get there together. And when I know the next step, you'll know the next step. So sometimes just being clear like that, I don't know, but we're figuring it out, can help people. Be consistent with your communication and checking in with folks. Be decisive. Be decisive. I found, and research actually backs this up, not my research, but research that we follow. People would rather follow a leader that makes a bad decision and corrects it than a leader who does not make a decision at all. Think about that. Make the decision, correct it if we have to, than somebody not making a decision at all. So be decisive. How are we decisive? We prepare, we practice. That's that preparation phase. We know what to do when it happens because, wow, we've thought about it. We've run through some scenarios. We prepared for this right here. Exercise sound judgment. What would a prudent person do in this moment? What does prudence demand that we do? And change course when necessary. Do not allow our egos to step in and say, well, we can't embarrass ourselves. We said this, now we have to do it. No, if we've got to change course, change course. Being decisive. Being decisive does not mean being perfect. That's very important to note as well. Being decisive does not mean being perfect. It does not mean you will always get it right, but it means you will keep going until you do get it right. Observe. During the storm, pay attention. What are you doing to do pulse checks with your people? What are you doing there? When people stop talking, pay attention. That's a danger zone for us as leaders. Danger zone. Because people see things we don't see. They know things we don't know. They hear things we don't hear. And we got to pay attention to people, not just what they say, but what they're not saying. The shifts in their mood and their energy. What's going on? You can start feeling, I feel a storm coming. Something's happening here. What is it? That's when you check in with your people. And here's the thing. You don't just check in with people when you think something's wrong. When you're consistent, and this is part of your leadership, and you're in relationship with people, it's easier to do this when the storm arises because they're used to it, because they know you're real and you're authentic. And also during the storm, as far as observation, check your blind spots. You don't see everything. You don't see everything. During the storm, we have a tendency to sometimes go into that fight or flight mode. And when that happens, our vision starts to, get constricted. We see less and less and less. And every now and then you got to ask somebody else, hey, Amanda, hey, Heather, hey, La Rochella, can you see what I don't see? What you got over there? What's over there? Check your blind spots. Who are you leaning on as your spotter during the storms? Because they see things you don't. Be encouraging. I am a firm believer of leadership from the heart, a firm believer in that. I believe the head and the heart can coexist. Matter of fact, I believe they must coexist. They must coexist. Please allow your head and your heart to be engaged in your decision making during the storm. Your energy is transferable. You don't have to be fake. You can be real, but remember, your energy helps to set the tone for people. Your energy is I was just talking to somebody recently, and they said, you know what? My leader, when they walk in a room, they walk in with such a level of confidence that even when we know there's a problem, we believe we're going to get through it just by the way they present it. Just by the way they present it, we believe we're going to get through it. It's never easy. It's always challenging, and we struggle sometimes. But the belief there that is stirred by our leaders' confidence, by their energy, helps us to push through. I love that quote, and I think we can all learn from that. And also, encouraging means focusing on the strengths and opportunities. Remember, during the storms, my strengths can compensate for your weaknesses and vice versa. So during the storm is a time to focus on put people in their strong spots so we can get through this together. That's what we want to do. Unfortunately, during the storm, drama can happen. During some storms, dysfunction can settle in, disconnect, and division can start to surface because people can be scared. People can be uncertain. People can be unsure. People can get confused. They need a unifying voice and a unifying point. Us, leaders. How do we do that? We avoid the drama. We don't get caught up in the drama. This says look for lines and sides. What I'm saying here is look for people who are drawing lines and taking sides. This is, if there's any one time to be one team, is during the storm. Oh no, this one time. There's no sides here. There's no lines here. We are going to erase the signs and tear down the sides. This is a one team moment. That's the language I like to use. This is a one team moment right here. Whether you're finance, whether you're program, whether you are whatever department you're in, board, whether you're staff, whether you've been here 1 month, 1 year, right now, one team moment, no lines, no sides. Let's get it. And then deal with dividers. If you ever find yourself in a space where there are people who are relishing in the division or creating division, and again, hopefully that does not happen where you are, but it can happen in some places. I've seen it. I've been doing this a long time. I've seen it. And how do you deal with the dividers? You deal with them. They must be talked to. Hey, we're not doing that here. Right now, we have to be together on the same team. Are you willing and able to do that with us right now? Because if not, that division creates more of a distraction and really makes the storm harder to navigate. Ask for help. During the storm, contrary to what we might think of popular belief, during the storm is not the time to put on our superhuman cape. It's not the time. That's not the time. During the storm is not the time to say, I got it. I got everybody. I got you. Jump on my shoulders. No. During the storm is a time where we delegate. We delegate. We ask for help. We can't be everything to everybody. This is why employee development and team development is so important, because now I got to take things from here to give to you so we all can contribute. During the storm, as I ask for help, I'm going to get objective feedback from people. What am I doing that's working? What am I doing that's not working? It's not about me getting my feelings hurt. Excuse me. It's about me being the best leader I can be. I need that feedback. And during the storm, asking for help, tag team. Like old school wrestling, tag, you're in, I'm out. We switch in and out. There's a time to even take a break during the storm. Somebody has to take a rest and somebody step in so that we can continually be at our best. If not, we will wear ourselves out. That's what happens during the storm. Here's one of my favorite quotes. There's not a plan or approach you can develop to ensure you will avoid all future storms. Storms are a natural part of individual, team, and organizational development. Weathering the storm is a critical competency for effective leaders. It's a competency. We can develop the competency, the strength, the skill, the muscle to weather storms. Because here's the thing, as long as we are leaders, there are going to be storms. Period. 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 If people tell you we have no storms, something's not right. Something's just not right. And here's the thing. The lack of a storm is no way a measure of leadership excellence, and the presence of storms is not a measure of a leadership deficit. The key is, how do we navigate, accept, and acknowledge and recover from the storms when they do rise? That's when our leadership steps in. That's when the difference is made. Okay? I'm going to stop sharing right now. I know we still have time. I'm going to stop sharing now and open up for just any kind of dialogue or conversation to help us kind of wrap this up before we're all done. As you think about the slides that I just shared, any questions, any comments, any concerns at all?
Hey, Charles, this is Mandy.
Hey,